I think everyone in the street basketball community has heard or seen few clips of the professor, and I'm pretty sure that the overwhelming majority of park basketball fans think that he is elite. But as we all know, cool dribbles and flashiness doesn't translate to great basketball skills. Just take a look at GOIs. In order to determine if the professor is actually good at basketball or he is just flashy street baller, we have to take a look at his basketball stats. As the famous saying goes, math doesn't lie, our emotions do. Before we dive into the professor's record and his basketball stats, first let us take a quick look at his background. The professor, whose real name is Grayson Scott Boucher, is 5'8" and weighs around 145 pounds. He played basketball for the majority of his life, and he even played at a professional level for a couple of years.
Started playing basketball at 2 years old. My dad put the basketball in my hands at a very young age. His passion for the game wore off onto me almost instantly. I think by about 3rd grade, I realized I loved the game of basketball, and that's what I wanted to do for a living.
Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about his basketball stats. The professor played a total of 10 proper 1v1 basketball games. Out of the 10 games that he played, he only lost once. In average, Grayson shot 75% from the field, which is highly impressive. Out of the 110 shots that he attempted throughout his 10 games, the professor managed to score 83. And out of the 83 shots, 82 of them were 2-pointers, giving him a 2-pointer percentage of 77%. This brings us to the next point, which is his 3-pointer. Out of the 110 shots that a professor attempted, only 4 of them were from beyond the 3-point arc. In the 10 games that he played, he only made a single 3-point jump shot, therefore giving him a 3-pointer percentage of 25%. This might be shocking to some, but you have to understand that the professor is an old school basketball player, unlike the newer generation that heavily emphasizes on 3-point jump shots. Grayson's defense is not bad at all. He averages 1 steal per game, and unlike Cash Nasty, he doesn't have to hack and foul most of the time. What's interesting that I have found throughout my research is that even though the professor had few misses, he never airballed, not even once. No background and no grazing of the rim. All of his misses were good misses or unlucky shots, which means not only that he's good at basketball, but also he doesn't take risky and unrealistic shots. Despite being flashy and doing extra dribbles for the sake of flashiness, believe it or not, Grayson always plays it safe. Based on the professor's performance, it's hard to tell which game was his best, because all of his games were pretty much good games. I think, in my opinion, his best game is when he played a random khaki hooper. In that game, the professor made 6 shots out of 6 attempted shots, giving him a field goal percentage of literally 100%. I don't think it can get any better than that. Surprisingly enough, Grayson's worst game is not the game that he lost. In that game, the professor shot 75% from the field. It's just that he was not playing tight defense and was not taking the game that seriously. His worst game is the game that he ended up skunking a hostile trash talk. In that game, the professor shot 66% from the field, which is not bad at all by everyone else's standards, but it's significantly below the 75% which Grayson's averages. In that game, he also attempted 2 jump shots from beyond the 3-point arc and missed both of them, giving him an awful 3-pointer percentage of 0%. His defense was not that better. He had 0 blocks and 0 steals. And yet, despite not performing as his usual self, Grayson Boucher did manage not only to win, but skunking his opponent in the process. In conclusion, the professor is truly amazing at 1v1 basketball. He's not just a flashy hooper, he's also a skilled basketball player with great fundamentals and high basketball IQ. His stats are amazing and way better than what any other street basketball could average. However, his 3-point jump shot is questionable. We have to see him attempt more shots so that we can properly determine if he is a sharpshooter or not. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on IG and Twitter at 1v1 highlights.
I've always tried to walk the line between us. So pay no mind to my pride. I don't need it.